In this video, I will explain to you guys how to do the Mona Lisa greatest checkmate ever that I was able to pull off recently. And I'll also answer a few questions that I've received about the checkmate and where the heck it came from. So let's get right into things. First of all, no, I did not come up with this on the spot. I did not just invent all of that. I mean, that would just be too brilliant. I have been doing these types of checkmates for a long time. I always like to punish people that don't resign, come up with beautiful artistic creations on the chessboard. So this is not new for me. Often I do it against lower rated players when I'm just chilling, maybe playing some of my subscribers. But if a higher rated player is not resigning, then I'm definitely going to try to come up with something fun because they're the ones that should know better. I have been doing these kind of checkmates for a while. Interestingly enough, and I will link it in the description below the video, I did do this exact sequence. So not only did I do this exact checkmate, but I did it with pre-moves, but it was just against the lower rated player during one of my speed runs, and I released it on our YouTube channel, but it did not get the same type of traction and attention, obviously, that this one got recently when it went kind of viral. So I have actually already done this before. This was not the first time, but it was the first time against a super strong player, and I was really under pressure. I finished the game with less than a second, as you guys may know if you've seen the video, but it was not the first time. I also have been doing these checkmates for, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. About 4 or 5 years ago, I have a video, which I'll also put in the description. Check it out if you want to see where it all started, because that was the first time that I ever set the pieces up for checkmate. I didn't do it with pre-moves, which I did this time, but it was very cool at the time. I hadn't seen anyone else doing it. A lot of people have asked me, you know, like, did you get this from Ben Feingold? As far as I know, I definitely did not, but he could have done it before me. I don't know. I've been probably doing it for about 5-6 years, and I have a couple of videos that we released during COVID. If he's got some that predate that, then that's just even cooler. I didn't get the inspiration from him, but I know that Ben Feingold likes to do these exact same checkmates. And I saw one where he set the pieces up on the side of the board, like reset them, but on the side for checkmate. I thought that was really cool. So shout out to Ben, but as far as I know, this is a chessbrah original. Now, let's get into some instruction. I am gonna tell you literally how to do it yourself. It is just a pre-move sequence, so it can be memorized. So let me just jump ahead to much later in the game. And one thing I will say about doing these fun checkmates is they're all kind of satisfying to do. But hey, if you want my advice, get the bishops first. Those are the ones that can cause you some problems later on. They need to be on opposite colored squares when you promote them, obviously. And I would get those pieces first, and then also make sure you get a queen early on. The queen is the best piece for making your opponent's king go where you need it to go. So for example here, if I didn't have a queen and instead I had another knight and I was trying to push these pawns to promote them, what if the black king just stays in front of them? It's going to be very hard to promote without giving checkmate or losing my pawn. So for example here, we're able to do something really nice, which is kick the king away. See this? And now the king is stuck in the corner over here. I can maybe bring my king down, as I like to do. I think this is another good habit for this checkmate. In case you mouse slip or promote to a rook or something, it won't be checkmate ever. So that's just nice to avoid any problems. It helps you pre-move. So in case you are pre-moving, put your king down there, and then you can promote to rooks, no problem. So the queen is super helpful, so make sure you get a queen early on. In this case, I was able to do that, and black made it a little bit easier by just running the king away. If the king stayed put, I would have had to probably reactivate my queen and kick the king away using that method I just showed you. So as you can see here, it's really drilled into my brain to bring the king down, but I realized I didn't need that. And I get all of my pieces promoted and bring the king back. So now we've got this position, and now comes the sequence, which is totally possible to memorize. It involves your queen and your rook only. If you do it with the black pieces, it would involve your queen and then the rook on your king side. So you can do the same thing, obviously colors reversed. but let me explain it from the white side as we did in the game. The target squares are going to be something like this box. That's what I want you to think of. So you definitely want to bring your rook to f6, and then it's going to go to d6 and d8. So that's going to be your rook's journey. Your queen really just needs to get to f8. That's it. So at the start, what I do is I bring my queen over to the rook, and we're going to ladder up the board, but we're not going to give checkmate. So make sure you don't, I mean, I've definitely done that before, ruined a potential version of this checkmate by actually giving mate too early. So make sure, and this is just a piece of chess advice for anyone out there who needs help checkmating, queen and rook ladder, always make sure your rook is in between the enemy king and your queen. If the rook is on the outside like this, that ladder will not always work. If it's on the inside, not only will you never stalemate, but you will always deliver checkmate. So we bring the rook to the inside of the queen, and then we just ladder up the board. But remember, this box right here, that's where we want our pieces. So I'm not trying to stay on light squares here. Now I'm going to switch to the dark squares. So rook to f6. King could go anywhere at this point. Queen g7 and queen f8. So we start by putting both pieces on the f file. And remember, this rook, it goes like that. So that's going to be your next couple moves. So just remember this box right here. Okay, the rook's going to give check, and then we're going to go here. And now we're going to do a series of moves with the queen and the rook. But again, always remember a pattern. The rook is always going to be in between the enemy king and your queen. So that really helps to I guess, memorize it easier. So right here, our next move is going to be queen e7. Notice how we're operating fully on dark squares, okay? And then rook d6, and then queen c7. So again, the rook is always in between the queen and the king, no matter what. And when we're starting, we're heading for this box right there. And then from that moment on, look at all the squares that we're utilizing. Rook d2, rook h2, queen d6, and queen d1. Every single square that we used here was a dark square. So once you line up the initial queen and rook, every square you go to is going to be a dark square. And I think that makes it really easy to remember. So let's try it once again from the start, keeping all that in mind. Yes, it might start on light squares, that's fine. But we just bring our queen over to our rook on the king side. Make sure to bring the rook up and over so that it's in between the enemy king and our queen. And then we ladder up the board, but keeping in mind that not only this box, but all of these dark squares that I'm highlighting right now, those are the ones you need to use. So once the rook goes here, the queen goes to f8, the rook swings down to d8, and then we just see kind of a zigzag pattern there with the queen and the rook. So queen f8, and no matter what, if you use this technique, you will not deliver stalemate. It's not possible. The only way that there could be stalemate is way at the beginning of this entire thing when your pieces are all set up, but chances are that's pretty much never going to happen. You have to get really unlucky. So yeah, you will never stalemate using this technique. There will always be a free square. Rook d8, using that box, queen e7, and here it's nice to know that you just kind of alternate the queen and the rook as your moves. So bring the rook down here, and then you'll see it's queen, rook, and then from this point forward, just remember you're always on dark squares. Just put your rook back where it belongs, and remember this key final square, queen d6, back to d1. This vacates the c2 square for the black king to use, and covers the b4 square so it can't retreat, which means this is forced, and this is checkmate, and you're gonna look like a boss when you deliver this mate yourself. So I think that's about 20 some moves. Yes, it might be a lot to memorize, but I think the ladder is pretty intuitive up the board. And just remember this box right here, and from that point on, you're only operating on dark squares, usually alternating your queen, your rook, your queen, your rook, and keeping your rook in between your queen and the enemy king at all times. Now, I'm also going to include a bonus clip. For those of you that made it this far, I was able to do this checkmate once again, so you'll get to see everything that I just showed you in action, and hopefully that's once again reinforces how to do this checkmate. Enjoy. All right, let's play one more. I finally got the white pieces here. It's a miracle. I've heard rumblings about this intro. TBD. Normally, this Fianchetto setup, h4, h5 makes a lot of sense. Especially when there's no knight here. Almost want to take here. Takes, bishop d3 maybe. Hit the knight. Probably the best is just to take everything. Karaberg, I did not see the sub battle, but believe me, I've been filled in by the good people here. So I won't say it's equivalent to being there, but I have a pretty good idea. Here, bishop takes, I think should be no problem. Which one do we want to take? Most likely this. That's a long diagonal. Yeah, I was gonna say. Unfortunately, that diagonal is very long. I don't think you're gonna see that one. I would be pretty impressed. Oh no. I think we have enough pieces here. In fact, some of the pieces are already where they need to be. I don't even have to move them. I'm a little bit lazy, so I'm probably going to use my own pieces to do this just because I'm worried we're going to finger slip something. So you see? It's been well known, I've actually talked about this before, but my keyboard does not have a very reliable Alt key. To really press it in there. Ah, we've made it. We've made it. Now, who remembers how to do it after you bring the pieces back? It's a lesson for us all. Who knows the line? I don't know exactly how many moves it is, so I'm not sure how low we can make the time here. GG to Sun Craner. 0.6. Terrible. Thanks for playing it out, son Craner. There you go, a nice little infomercial on how to do the checkmate right in front of you. I did it again. Some people like tune into the stream. They're like, man, I saw that checkmate you did. That was crazy. So for someone to tune into the stream right now would be particularly funny. Hey man, just checking out the stream. Do you just fucking do this all day? Is that all you do? Is this the only thing that gets streamed here? You just fucking rinse and repeat this checkmate the entire time? So there you have it, guys. That is the Mona Lisa checkmate explained step by step. You just saw a demonstration. Hopefully you're able to get that in your games and totally dunk on your opponents. Nothing feels better than that. I will see you guys in the next video, and don't forget, if you're not subscribed, to click that subscribe button and turn post notifications on so you don't miss our next video. See you guys.